Dino felt his heart ache in his chest. Why did she do that? How could she break his heart in such a terrible way? He wanted to marry her and have children one day. But it seems that his dreams have been crushed together with his heart. The sadness he felt soon turned to anger. He wanted to go back to her. She would get no warning or sympathy from him if he planned his plan. She would get what came to her. Dino worked hard on an oil rig. Although workers on an oil rig do not need fancy training, the men who choose to work here are highly skilled. There is one thing that is more important than education, and that is experience. Dino had what the company was looking for. He noticed the small details as he worked and knew what to do. From the outside, people thought Dino had everything: a good job, a great house, and some really good friends. Dino had been lucky with his job and house, but he had always wanted something more. He had always been unlucky when it came to love. But that would change everything. Some people would love to be with Dino. He was smart, made good money, and was responsible for it. He was also very humble and didn't brag about what he had. After saving enough, he paid full for a nice apartment. The only thing Dino didn't have was a girl to share his joy with. What Dino didn't realize was that the next woman who came into his life would try to destroy it. Dino's employees would have a new girlfriend every time they went ashore. Dino respected her, but this life was not for him. He wanted to find someone who was really special. Dino may be a very patient person, but that doesn't mean he's undecided. One day his friends couldn't believe it when they saw the woman holding Dino's hand. When Dino met this woman, he was thrilled. Andrea was a beautiful woman who looked like a supermodel. She could easily have been on Vogue's cover. Dino's staff were also speechless when they saw his new girlfriend, but not for the same reason as others. Many of Dino's friends were happy for him when he found Andrea. Others suspected. In particular, a friend named Josh thought she was the most selfish and attentive woman he had ever seen. Dino couldn't know that at the time he couldn't see the future, but warning signs soon appeared. Sometimes Andrea's self-centered side appeared. She explained that this was due to poor childhood, including divorce from parents. Dino trusted and understood, so he rejected her behavior. Andrea was very excited to move into Dino's apartment. In the beginning, their relationship couldn't have been better. But while he was on the oil rig, he had a strange feeling. Dino received bank statements that he could not explain. Andrea had his card so that she could get the bare essentials while he was at work. But the grocery bill exceeded $300, and just a few days later, another $200. She couldn't have eaten more than $500 in a few days. She needs to get cashbacks from the store and put them in her pocket. Dino had a very bad feeling. Dino now suspected her behavior made him feel unfaithful. With his money and apartment, she could easily cheat on him while he was gone. With the high probability that Andrea would cheat him, Dino decided to work out a plan. He came home early and found something shocking. Then it only got worse. Andrea was not expecting him at home for a few more days. When Dino entered his house, the house he had worked so hard for, she was completely surprised. For Dino, it confirmed the worst suspicion he had of the woman he once thought was the one. Dino can feel his heart crumble into a million pieces as he walks into his bedroom. The woman he wanted to marry and grow old with actually cheated on him. But Dino stayed cool. He wasn't out of control, he just told the guy to get out. Then he told Andrea to get out too. He gave her the key to a hotel room, $50 for taxi rides, and told her to go. But Andrea didn't go. Andrea screamed, cried, apologized, and announced her love for him in one breath, and cursed him with the next. This ended up when Dino told his security guard to call the police. Andrea was not rented out, and when the police arrived and checked who owned the house, they were removed. That should have been the end, but Andrea was vengeful. Dino had taken Andrea's comfort, to which she had gotten used. His money, his card, and his home. Andrea had to face the music. Dino would no longer take care of it. He took all of Andrea's things and put them in a storage unit. But Andrea wouldn't just sit around and be stopped that way. She wouldn't let him keep you in the dark. She would fight Dino back where it hurts. Dino's pride and joy, apart from his apartment, is his white Chevy Monte Carlo. A few weeks after the separation, Dino returned home from another stay on the oil rig. Instead of finding his car in top condition, it was something much worse. 4 flat tires, a broken windshield, and a can of red paint had been poured over it. All of Dino's friends wondered who would do this, but Dino knew the answer. Andrea had just done something Dino could never forgive. While most men struck back where it hurt immediately, he chose Dino to be patient. He knew that the perfect time to strike was not now. Dino returned to his routine in daily life without missing a beat, as if nothing had ever happened. But he hadn't forgiven or forgot what Andrea had done to him. Soon he would find an opening somewhere to repel his ex-girlfriend, and he would make it difficult. Dino would never forget what she was doing, and when he found out she was getting married, he started planning. Learned about the engagement from a friend of his, Nancy. Her sister Kathy happens to be very good friends with Andrea, but Nancy knew the real Andrea and passed the information on to Dino. She would become a co-conspirator with him, and together they made sure that the best day in Andrea's life was the worst day. Fortunately, Nancy knew exactly what type of Andrea was. When she received the wedding invitation, she first thought of how Andrea had betrayed her good friend Dino. She took advantage of the fact that he owned property and earned good money by cheating himself off while playing around with other men. In return for everything Andrea did, Dino started with an anonymous letter to Andrea. About a month before the wedding, Dino mailed an anonymous letter. In the envelope was a picture of a Monte Carlo, a wedding dress, and a packet of ketchup. There was also a single sheet of paper with 3 words, red on white. If Andrea thought Dino would just turn the other cheek, she was wrong. He hadn't forgotten what she had done to his heart and car, and neither had she. He would take revenge, and with this mysterious message, she knew she would come. The note was enough to make Andrea worry about her pure white wedding dress. Nancy had given Dino a little piece of information she had heard from her sister. The name of the shop where Andrea got her dress. Dino went to the store and asked the man if he just wanted to make $100. All he had to do was call Andrea and tell her to come to the store and choose the red lace braid for her dress. Andrea showed up 20 minutes later, freaked out and wanted to know what it was about, continued Dino's friend. The guy said he got a call from her fiance and ordered the red top for the dress. Andrea knew it wasn't the fiance, and she had a pretty good idea of who was behind the sabotage. She freaked out for a reason. For her, the coloring of her white dress red was not a question of if, but a question of when. She was startled when the wedding soon approached the future bride. Andrea freaked out. Dino waited until a few weeks were left until the big day. Nancy had a slip and told her sister that a friend of Dino's was working in the company, who was assigned to take care of the food for Andrea's wedding. Andrea freaked out as soon as she heard about it. She immediately deleted the pasta dishes and had tomatoes removed from the salads, for fear that Dino's non-existent mate might throw a plate at them. But it wouldn't end there. Dino had about 30 different red lipsticks sent to Andrea from different Amazon sellers, all of which were paid for with prepaid credit cards. She couldn't trace her back to him, but she knew it was him. Dino then put a red marker under her wipers so that she could find something one morning. At the time of the wedding day, she was a complete wreck and expected to be sprayed with red paint at every turn. It should be the happiest day of your life. In fact, it was in Dino's interest that the wedding was really pleasant for all of Andrea's guests except for her. Andrea was a wicker case at the wedding party. She demanded that all red flowers be removed from the centerpieces on all tables. She refused to come within 10 feet of someone holding a red drink. She spent more time and attention looking for the ambush she was certain would come, and Dino didn't even do anything. In fact, he had to make sure that guests like Nancy could see everything. He turned her into a bridezilla, and Nancy, who was invited, kept him posted with an ongoing comment throughout the night. In front of all her family and friends, Andrea showed herself to be an unpredictable and paranoid person who demanded that everyone lean back whenever there was a problem. In the end, the only thing stained was her reputation.